look great.
Oh my god.
This is one hell of a fucking ceiling.
It's the little things that take a lot of time. Another slow start to a week.
Where they were completely rotten. And now I have to start all over again.
Let's try and fix that.
We had a slight issue with
And, oh man, it took way longer than it should have.
massive gaping holes.
How do we fit a radiator on the ceiling? Phase 2.
To put an end to this whole Voile saga. Looks awful. I am happy. Wow, you look great. Back in the bedroom, tiles are grouted, floor is grouted. We had a slight issue with tiles wanting to come up here. There is a part in the doorway where the wood meets the cement board underneath where the tiles are, and yeah, that's causing a little bit of give. So we have decided to not bring the tiles to here anymore and put a wooden, sort of like a saddle in, and just allow the tiles to come to here really, actually. This was here. And so now we've decided to come to here with it. We'll do that when we're doing the next lot of adhesive. We tend to wait until we're mixing a batch of adhesive to go again with these, because it's just better, you just kind of put all the jobs together. There's also a tile to go over the sink there as well. This is finished. I don't know why I put the GoPro stand there, but anyway, there you go. So it's now ready and it's looking pretty good, ready for her shower enclosure to go in. We are on the floor. This floor was originally old, we might have showed you way back, they were old floorboards, and funnily enough they had actually already been turned around, so they had already been used either somewhere else, or when they were in this house they had already turned them around for whatever reason, because we could see that they had been kind of painted or used before, I don't know, recycled. We could have used them because they weren't bad, but we decided not to. So we've left them, bar a few which were under the windows where they were completely rotten. In fact, there was just like a massive hole kind of here, except of course the window, the wall never stuck out this far before because we added this extra wall inside the original wall. The floorboards ran right up to the old windows. Anyway, they're gone, and the floorboards we've left, we didn't bother pulling them up. We fixed what needed to be fixed, which actually wasn't much, because when we brought the wall out, it meant that we didn't need any of the old floorboards that were next to the 3 sort of windows that are in the front upstairs. We had played around with what would we do, would we carpet, would we laminate, what would we do? I actually think carpet is actually a really nice idea. I think this would be a very luxurious bedroom with a carpet. We're not going to do that now. We haven't had a lot of carpet where we've been before. It's usually just sort of a floor that can be mopped and cleaned. This is the way I look at it anyway. If a floor can be mopped, I'm happy. So I love tiles, concrete, anything like that. You can always add rugs, and Kira has already got a couple of rugs that she wants to put in here. Because flooring doesn't come into the grant whatsoever, but at the end of the day, we wanted to bring it in around the 85,000 for the whole build, because we want to be able to say that we spent over on every aspect. In which case then, if there's a call has to be made about something, maybe there's a buffer in which we'll still get our 70,000 back. So that's what the deal was. This is a thicker tongued and grooved OSB. These haven't yet been screwed down So we still have to sort of do a little bit of maneuvering to get them in place, hopefully. But even still with that, we have seen some really nice ideas where they have just been really generously varnished. And because this room is so white, I feel that it can just take a wooden floor. We'll probably put a wooden window seat in. I'm not sure what we'll do for probably in the blind wise, but something nice. Maybe wooden, I don't know. But so this is where we're going to go. Then what some people have done, where there's a join, because not all of these are toned and grooved. Now we'll see how we go when we try to shift these around. The lines we are going to fill in with like a black sort of a, Rob will put it in the description there, some kind of a black filler, and fill them so that you will see when this is done, this will just be varnished, and then there will just be these black lines running through it. And that's the way it's going to be finished. Then she can throw down whatever amount of rugs she wants, or do whatever, or in the future, if she decides she's had enough with it, we can carpet the whole thing. But I want to give this a go, because if you look up ideas online, so many people have done a lot of stuff with this OSB board, and it's super strong. This is made for building houses. So it's great, it's super durable. I came up and scrubbed this last night because I had made a mess with some plaster on it, and I can't get over how well it's come up. So I'm going to get on now, and I'm going to varnish it and put the first coat down, and then I'll show you afterwards what it looks like. I plan to put down at least another 3 coats on this, so that it is nice and super smooth, but also just really well protected. So let's get on with it. So 1 coat down. This is not actually the first coat. When we originally put this floor in, I had already put down, I think, 2 coats on the entire top floor as one large room, just to protect it. And actually it really did protect it from paint and plaster and all sorts. So I'll come back and see. I'll have to give it a quick sand just to take the next coat. Maybe I can do that tonight. It might not be dry enough. We'll have to see. There are actually lots of other things that you can do with this kind of OSB stranded board, or whatever you want to call it, chipboard or whatever. You can actually spray paint it in a color. Lots of people do it in a white, and then sand it back, and it almost looks like it's kind of distressed, but it kind of gives it a kind of a whitewash sort of feel. I was thinking we might have a go at that somewhere, but I'm going to go with this for now in this room, and we'll see going forwards then with the rest of the floors here, the middle room and Ashton's room. We'll see. Okay, so we'll wait for it to dry.
Hey folks, we're delighted to let you know that our limited edition Rooney Red Setter postcards are now available. If you would like your Rooney approved postcards, head below to our Ko-fi store where you can pick up one and get a secret message from us. If you would also like our original West Cork Wonder farmhouse postcards, get them at the same store, but hurry, prints are limited. Good morning folks, how's it going? Another slow start to a week. We're getting there slowly but surely. I am still doing my battling with the wiring. Clare is still doing her battling with the plumbing, but what I am working on today is the radiator towel rail. It's a bit tricky, so I had a little bit of a start already because this is my famous curved wall. So there's quite a lot of plaster and it was difficult to find out where the studs were. I managed to put these 2 supports on the studs. So I hope these are going to take the majority of the weight. And then these 2 supports, I have got plasterboard anchors. So I'm hoping these 2 will keep it stable, but those 2 really, I'm hoping will take the weight. And as I mentioned, this is loose. Right, let's try and fix that. Okay guys, I had a lot of difficulty getting this one in because it's just plasterboard behind. I have to go through a few different anchors. These were fine because they're straight into a stud. I needed plasterboard anchors here. Now this is a silver one. It's actually not my preferred one because the other three towel rails were smart, so connect to Wi-Fi. And so I can monitor the temperature. I thought this was a Wi-Fi towel rail, but when I'm looking at the settings down here, it looks very, very analog. So I wasn't going to have a power switch for these radiators. I was just going to control them with the Wi-Fi. So this is just a direct feed straight to the consumer board. So I don't really think I could or should directly connect that without a power switch. So I'm just going to throw a plug on this. I'm going to connect it into an extension and see whether this controls the on-off function or whether I have to build some sort of switch into the wall. So it's the little things that take a load of time. Let's see how we go.
And now I have to start all over again. We have one bedroom complete. Complete in that it is ready to move into. However, in order to get to that room, you have to walk through this building site. So, plan is work day and night to get this middle room plastered and painted and varnished so that we can get one child up and one child down. So all of these massive gaping holes will no longer be there in a couple of days. So I started yesterday, and it was Sunday, and we shouldn't have really started yesterday because we should have just taken the day and gone off and done something. But I so just want to get this done and this upstairs complete. So I just said, look, you just get on with it. So I've done this window. Actually super happy with this. This window is it's not completely done, but I've got the sharp edges on. So it's just a case of finishing it off. So I'm going to take it wall by wall. This wall will be well done in a little while. And then really it is just this horrible bit of roof. And one little wall there and one little wall there. So look, it's not that bad. But that's where we are. And then once I've done this, I got to do it all again in Ashton's room. Although that's kind of half plastered. So there isn't so much to do. Obviously all needs to be painted, but half of it is kind of plastered. So I'm glad I kind of got a little bit done of that. And actually, he might be away at the weekend, so I might be able to get back in there. So, right, let's keep going.
This might have been one of my more difficult ones because there's a tiny window and it's incredibly dark in here. And right up there, we have to pop a light. It was very difficult to see anything. Couldn't get a torch, don't have electricity to put a bulb on. And, oh man, it took way longer than it should have. But, like everything else in this project, eventually it got done. Next up is a little light switch to go in there, but I do seem to have an extortionate amount of cables. I don't know why I have that many. And I have the fan to fit. So, 2 jobs for the east wing. Extractor fan fitted. An incredibly awkward light fitted. And the day is almost done. What time is it, Clare? Getting the silent treatment from the missus. I am now going to try to fit a socket right up in there. This is going to be interesting. Well, that socket is done. It's quite tricky, there's a lot of wires. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to push it in, but I'm just going to leave it like this until the electrician tests everything, and then I'll try to fit them in. Which is every time I push it back, one of the wires pops out. Okay.
So, to put an end to this whole voile saga, we finally have some rings. A little bit bigger than I had hoped, but they kind of have to be to go on the flipping pole. Anyway, look, we're going to see how it goes. And I'll get them up and then I'll show you. And they're up. The rings are on. And the rings and hooks are on. And they're up. And I think they look amazing. And it just means that now we don't need to close the curtains every time we get changed or whatever and make it a cave. So I think it works really well for what we want it for. They are the perfect length, really, because I got them exactly to measure both windows. So yeah, I think they look great. What do you think, Rob?
As long as you love them, I'm happy.
Typical man. So all we need to do now is just get the little bit of wood on the inside and the window is completely finished. Huge, huge improvement. So I am happy. Side time out to have a look at my voile curtains, because they look amazing. Do they look amazing? Yes. So, wall done. I'm up here now on the ceiling. We are, what time are we? 6:30. I decided I just want to get the ceiling done before the end of today. Okay, it's getting dark now. It's 7:10. Gosh, really need to put these hours in now we have the light. But I am happy I've got halfway. So halfway has been met, which means I have half left. So we should be well on the way for sanding this on Wednesday and then painting, hopefully. So there's a few dodgy bits, all right, because obviously the hole for the stairs is here. Not sure how I'm going to get my ladder up there. My super wide scrim tape came in ridiculously handy on these big holes in the ceilings. It's just like a big piece of band-aid. It just bandages up the whole ceiling. So I probably should have been using this when I had lots of holes in our bedroom and downstairs and everywhere. But anyway, you learn all these things as you go along. So I'm gonna have some dinner now and call it a night and get back up here again for 9 in the morning. We'll see you then.
I have a back injury that Claire rubbed, so she's getting a special breakfast. Winter brunch. Clonakilty black pudding, our bread, our tomatoes. What do you think, Claire?
Looks awesome. Absolutely awesome. You're really fueling me for this ladder.
Up and at 'em. Good morning, everybody. How's it going? Wait. How's it going, boys and girls? Welcome back. Good morning, peeps. How's she cutting? I'm having a snowy day. I've decided to put a recessed socket in there. I had to pop out to the hardware store to get them. They're really cool, actually. I should have done the whole house in these plastic things. They just clip onto the plasterboard. They don't need ground wires, so that's what I should have done. I'm trying to fit that in there, and then I am going to have a look at getting the radiator up and see how we get on. Okay. Woo! Phase 1 complete. Now, how do we fit a radiator on the ceiling? Phase 2. Man. Oh my god. Okay. Oh my gosh. Just like that. Right. That was a lot harder than expected. Whew. And the sun's out, making things hot. Very humid. Anyway, the original screws I had were fine, but they were so close to the wall, you really need to leave a good gap so you can look over the top to line up the screws. So I just got longer screws, basically wood screws, going through the rafters. So yeah, it's pretty good. Exactly 16-inch on center, so very easy to install. All 4 anchor points right into the rafters. It will be interesting to see how it goes. It's a bit dirty now. I'm gonna give it a wash. Now on to the next job. It's been an awkward day, as most days wiring at West Cork is. I did manage to get my infrared heater put up on the ceiling there. For those of you that don't know, I will link somewhere around here to the video where we discuss our plans and why we made some of the decisions with regards to the house. One of those decisions was to use electric underfloor heating to basically help with the sun. This is why we have huge windows on the south side of the house. During summer, the kind of sun moves up and down. During winter, the sun moves all the way across the horizon down here. So the idea was that the sun would come in and it would heat this polished concrete on the ground. We have a little bit, around 200 mil of insulation underneath this concrete. So once concrete heats up, it stays hot for a long time. In addition to that, we have electric underfloor heating that goes through the concrete. And finally, just in case we need a little bit more, we tested and we're quite happy with the performance of these infrared panels. So the infrared gives a very different type of heat. It gives a radiation sort of heat, so it directly mimics a fire or the sun. So the beauty about heating things up with the sun and with the infrared is that you can leave the doors open. A typical heater has a heating element and it heats the air and the air circulates through the house. This is not good for an old house, because when you have an old house that's quite drafty and there's maybe some thermal bridges with the outside, when the hot air hits the wall, condensation forms, and this leads to all types of problems with mold and whatnot. We never wanted to make our house airtight. In fact, we wanted to keep it as original as possible, so we chose not to use convection-based heating systems, and we wanted to use fire, solar gain, and infrared. So even with the windows open, even with the thermal bridging, we don't heat the air. The heat goes directly from this to the floor, and also the heat goes directly to the wall. So even if the wall is cold, the heat goes directly into the wall and starts to warm up the wall regardless of the airflow. So we should never get condensation if we use this sort of a system. Anyway, that's our reasoning. If you want to find out a little bit more about why we chose some of the house design and the energy use design that we had and the window design, have a look at this video and it'll go into more detail. In any case, this is the first of our panels. It was a little bit hard to put up, but unfortunately, from eye height, you can just see the tips of those screws. I'm not terribly happy with that. They're gold, or well, they're zinc screws at the minute. So I might paint them white just to make them less obvious, but overall, I'm pretty happy with that. Looking forward to testing that now during winter. Additionally, one of the other jobs I did was, this is all going to be closed off. I just wanted to throw in a socket under there. So we might have kind of a little chiller here, kind of a fridge, and we need the socket. So we might put a microwave somewhere here, so we need the sockets. Now, I don't know if we're going to have more sockets here, but I did just install it just in case. So we have a couple of sockets underneath the island, the peninsula. I now have to put the last socket in the entire downstairs, bar the old building. I have to put it just up here in the corner and just give a better home for our electricity. Funnily enough, this is one of the last things from the old house, and that's going to the water pump. Eventually that's going to be cut off and we'll have to have a new supply going out there somewhere. So anyway, yeah, that's the last socket. Just going to get on it. 7:30, calling it a day. We have got 2 sockets in here ready to be tested, as well as the sockets underneath wired up and ready for testing. The final thing I just did, just to see how it looks, I haven't done anything outside, but I have an external socket down there, and I have these pretty dapper outside lights. What do you think of that? As I say, 7:30, gonna wrap it up there, have a bit of dinner, shower, chill. I'm going to, will I tidy up? Or will I let Claire tidy up? What do you think, Claire?
Oh, you can tidy up, honey. I'll make some dinner.
I guess I'm tidying up. Yeah, I made it yesterday.
Yeah, this is one hell of a fucking ceiling. And I really thought I'd be over it now. But we are nearly there. I patched up this with some old gyprock that I had, skim coat. And as I was doing it then I was like, oh man, this looks like wallpaper. But it's not actually, it's like a strip of dado that's been painted over. Thankfully. Now it's fine. We could have scraped off wallpaper. But I'm not doing that now. We're just trying to get this as done as we can and finished. So I've got small few bits here that I'm going to just quickly finish. This main section where the lights go and the smoke alarm go, I'm gonna have to devise some kind of a platform before I go tonight because I cannot reach that because it's over the stairs. So that's a bit of a pain. But other than that, it's slow going. The sun is shining and we're getting there. But it's time consuming, super bloody time consuming. Like, just, you think you're going to be done after 2 days and you're still slogging on. Anyway, hopefully we'll get all of that done and just the tea left for tomorrow. I might even get the tea done, we'll see. But I think perhaps that's the issue. Perhaps I set myself a goal that I cannot meet. By saying, oh, I'll have it done by 2 days or whatever. So it's difficult because you want to got stuff on the face. You want to get it done, but it's tiring, it's time consuming, and yeah, you're on your feet all day doing it. But anyway, I'll stop moaning. Thankfully I was -2 walls because of this OSB wall obviously won't be plastered and this OSB won't be plastered. So it'll be quite interesting to see what they look like when the rest is white. I really like the OSB. And the floor obviously needs to be all scrubbed up. So that's where we are.